Andrew?
Gary, how are we, sir?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, Gary, but guess what? I think we've got some technical gremlins on the go tonight.
Is your Wi-Fi on the blink?
Well, I'm plugged in. It's
Right.
working fine, but I'm getting a wee bit of glitching on screen now. This is almost as if I've installed the max headroom mode tonight.
You're okay. You're okay for where I'm sitting.
Are you looking okay as well, Gary?
No, you're okay. You're looking mighty fine.
Mighty fine, Gary.
And a lovely top you've got on there, Andy.
Well, I've not got a t-shirt on tonight, Gary. I decided to go for the collar this evening, Gary, seeing it's quite an important show. But you, in usual forms, wearing a rather swanky t-shirt by the looks of things, Gary.
Just a t-shirt, Andy. And there you go. There's the rider.
That's the rider coming in with the tea and the water, Gary. Although I better watch myself tonight because we've got an hour and a half to get through.
Well, I know. If you were me, Andy, you wouldn't be able to do that. I was going to say that we've been doing this now. I can't believe it's 9 weeks. This is our 9th show. I feel as if there should be a set of stairs that we're walking down.
Would you think so? We get into that walking and wise moment now.
I say it feels like sitting there as an entrance is just not enough.
I know it's week 9. It's been it was something that we just thought we would start the conversation in Paisley, and we're still talking, and we've had some absolutely fantastic people on the show over the last 9 weeks. I was going to say, if we had a best of, you'd need to show them all again because it's been so good. The guests, to a man and a woman, have been fantastic. It's been great, and obviously a big shout out to everyone that's joining us live on Facebook this evening and also YouTube. We love your comments, and last week we were inundated with comments for our guest last week, Gary.
Yeah, that was another great show, Andy, with Alistair coming on for the council, and Anthony. Still getting mixed up with the two. Alan Anthony coming on for 360 Architecture. Fair to say, I was a wee bit nervous. I've got to say, before the show, I wasn't sure if it was a subject and a show that might have been exciting enough or stimulating enough for people, but it absolutely was. Great reaction last week.
It was really good, and it was all about the regeneration of Paisley, and I think that's, as we've said before, when you see that posted up on Facebook, when people are talking about the town centre, looking back and looking forward, it's always a subject matter that generates great conversation. People are really passionate about the town. People want to see the town prosper. They want to see the town improve. And although this is a challenging time that we're all in right now, the future for Paisley is certainly very bright, according to last week's show. Yeah,
and we added some content last week, Andy, about places opening up, getting a look at paint, and of course the trading has tentatively started again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've caught that image, Andy. I shoved in an image just at the last minute there into the Teams thing.
Oh, I never saw that, Gary. I was out.
I know. I sneaked it. That's one of my many surprises that I bring onto the show.
You've not brought the features, have you?
I could easily bring that buzzer back. But there's a Love Paisley, Love Local that was launched, and the traders are starting to open up. We've noticed the difference in the town and the calm busyness. Is that such a thing?
Calm busyness.
There's a calm busyness coming across Paisley Town Centre at the moment. I've noticed it getting busier. I've noticed shops opening up slowly, carefully.
Yeah.
And Love Local, Love Paisley is. It feels like we're returning to the town centre again.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And the Love Local, Love Paisley, just as a reminder, this is an initiative by Paisley First. We got a little kind of sneak kind of announcement from Colette Cardozi, who's chair of Paisley First. She was on a few weeks ago. And it's basically to try and encourage as many people as possible to love Paisley, love local, shop local. If you're spending money, put it into the traders in and around the town, because it's going to do so much good for the economy of the town and keeping our local people busy and ultimately employed, which is really important at this time as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's Caroline's just endorsed my calm business. I drove past Made in Paisley today, and it's open again, or it looked open, or it looked as if you're preparing for business again, and it's great to see every wee nook and cranny starting to open up. I noticed the print place on the high street next along for Cardozzi's.
Yep.
They're getting the benefit of the TH Cars initiative, which is the town centre regeneration. They're redoing pavements, redoing shop fronts. They took off their signage, and there was an old confectionery sign and some old mosaics, and it all looks really, really nice.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and it'll be a long recovery. You know, we're still following the guidelines. We're still all keeping safe and keeping each other safe. And I guess as our traders in our town start to open up, they'll have provisions. So, you know, how do you get your haircut, Gary, and a hairdresser's when you've got a social distance 2 meters, Gary?
Oh, exactly. Well, I was thinking something bizarre today. I phoned the dentist up, and I'm thinking, well, the dentist asked me to wear a mask, and then I thought, how are they going to get in? Where is it?
But usually, I was just going to say, usually the dentist always waits till they've got your mouth wide open and all their fingers in there, and then they ask you how you're doing, don't they? And then you can try and reply back.
How you feeling? How you feeling? I'm all right.
And I'm also feeling a wee bit kind of nostalgic as well, Gary, because last week we finished off on a wee trip down memory lane with regards to cinema provision in Paisley and the kind of history of cinema in the town.
Yeah, we did. I mean, that was really nice, Andy, and I know we're doing that to tee something up, and I'm going to admit when these sorts of things are happening, you know, I get a bit nervous, and I'm getting nervous in an excited way because we're projecting forward to. I don't want to. We don't talk about it later, Andy.
Aye, we'll talk about it later, but I think that's one of the things that really makes Paisley special is there's so much goodwill out there for the town. Those people that have stayed in the town, those people that have moved to the town and made it their home. I mean, we heard from Alistair Morrison last week. He moved to Paisley some 16 or so years ago, and he's settled here, the longest place he's ever stayed. He's made Paisley his home, and that's not uncommon. And there's a lot of love for Paisley, and we can look back at the great high street we had or the great cinema provision. And that holds true for a lot of people, that they see that in a really positive way. So they know Paisley has the potential to, the people of Paisley have the potential to support the right kind of initiatives. And that gives us so much encouragement, doesn't it?
It's always great to hear people's stories, Andy. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but it was really interesting to hear Alistair. I spoke to Alistair before the show last week, and he didn't say it in the show, but he said Paisley is the place he's lived longest. Right. Alistair's been all over the place, and as far as Regen's concerned, he decided to come and live here. A lot of Paisley people decide to go and live elsewhere, and that's fair enough. But making a point to come and live here, and making the point that his family's been brought up here, educated here. Yeah. Alan Anthony again reinforcing my family's from here. I live here. I've been educated here. My kids are born here. They're in school here. My dad's from all of that stuff, and we're the same. Yeah. I think most people get that, and I remember back to that time I got interviewed in the telly, Andy, the 2021 thing.
Oh, was that the BBC?
The BBC thing. She dragged me around to the site around the back of Arnott's.
Aye.
And this just came out.
This story, Gary.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to continue with this story, Gary?
I know. Well, I got abuse for saying this. I know abuse. I got a few messages for saying this, but I said, she was talking about what makes Paisley different. I says, look, we're a strange bunch. And what I meant by that is that we're really passionate about the place that we call our home, and where we live. And I think it's because we're so close to Glasgow, and we're really protective of Paisley, and Paisley being buddies, and St Mirren, and it being a point of difference, and everything that comes with being a Paisley person.
There's a good message up there from Liana. Brilliant to hear. Fantastic. Paisley never leaves you. Now that's coming from John Campbell, who's over in Toronto. He's been away over there for 30 years or something like that. Paisley never leaves you.
He wants to come back every 5 minutes.
He does. He comes over and sits in all the lions.
Is that one that curves? Is that curved?
John said a seat in that.
That's where John's got a saddle for it. Yeah. So last week we did speak about cinema. We definitely spoke about cinema, and we're teeing something up for later on in the show. Once we've got most of this show over, and just to confirm, this is an hour and a half special, Andy.
It is an hour and a half special. It's a biggie, Gary, and we've not just got our usual couple of guests, but we've got some guests, we've got some surprises, and we've got a few things along the way, have we not?
Yeah, three great guests anyway, and just to let's kick the show off properly. We've been talking for too long, and I promised 2 things last week, Andy. I've been under this chair for the past hour, finding everything that rubs against it and oiled every nook and cranny of it. So
somebody was saying that your chair was squeaky last week, weren't they?
Yeah, there's no squeak.
That sounds pretty good. A couple of some WD-40 on the hips, Gary.
It's the Paisley's 1980 kebab shop. If people of a certain vintage will know what I mean. So the old 3-in-1 has been used on the chair. So I'm pleased with that. And popular opinion, the buzzer's gone. Buzzer's gone.
Somebody's just asked about it there. The buzzer's
gone.
Gave me a fright last week, Gary. Gave me a fright.
We've had mixed feedback on the buzzer. There's Eddie. No timer, please, Gary. Care. What's going on? I thought that was a good interjection last week as a new feature.
So we know that there's no timer on tonight's show, but what is coming up in tonight's show, Gary?
Well, this is a special. It's a 1.5 hour special. So the first Saturday in July every year in Paisley is Small Shot Day. And we are the first to go live to talk about Small Shot. So Small Shot, it's special, 3 guests, Tony Lawler, Carol Lawler, and Sean Moore. Fantastic. All coming on in the context of Small Shot, Paisley, and hopefully we've got a few surprises lined up as well. And we're always inviting people to interject and call in. So we've got opportunities for people to call in. And we've always wanted a Q&A at the end. So if you feel that you've got something you want to ask us, especially when we start to talk about other things, then a wee message. If we think you're worthy, we'll send you a note, we'll send you a link, and you can come into the show and have a chat.
And anyone can join the chat later on. They can post up on Facebook, you can post up on YouTube. But if you actually want to appear on the screen next to me and Gary and our fabulous guests, we can do that as well. Just let us know, drop us a wee message or whatever, we'll make that happen. Gary, will we crack on? Will we get our first smashing guest on?
Yeah, let me introduce.
You're going to
do it. And no drum roll. I don't think we need to do a drum roll. Do you like that?
I like it. Smooth, Gary, smooth.
I see. I'm getting good at this. So our first guest is multifaceted, but he's synonymous with Small Shot Day and everything that happens at Small Shot. I've known Tony for a wee while now, and I know he does a number of other things. He's involved in Foxbar Community Council. He's involved in Paisley Development Trust and all sorts of projects that is a marvellous legacy for that organisation, and a credit to himself and his family. And of course, he carries the drum from Brodie Park to its destination right down the town. He carries the Charleston drum. So I think it leaves no introduction, no drum roll required to bring our first guest, Tony Lawler.
Tony.
That was a lovely introduction. Thanks very much, gent. I hope you're both well. I hope your families are doing fine.
All great, Tony. And yourself?
Good. Oh, great. I'm going to be a bit stir crazy.
Yeah, what's your head on that shelf?
No, that's actually my bonnet.
Tony, have you ever been described as multifaceted before?
I thought that was no. I thought a facet was a tap.
That's a faucet.
Also, it is faucet.
What part of the country you're from?
Farah faucet.
But I suppose that's a really nice compliment. Multifaceted. Aye, thank you. Thank you. I definitely have been about a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it does you no credit if you're one-dimensional. But you're definitely three, isn't it?
What was that, Gary?
I know, I'll not say it again.
Tony, we've got some of your fan club in tonight already, Tony. They must have known you were coming in. Give me a big hug. T from Brian.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Elaine. How are you doing?
Well, Tony's the man. Tony,
it's great to have you on. It's great to have you on, Tony. It's really great to have you on the show. We're going to have you as continuity all the way through.
Right.
And have you as almost as a guest compare or a co-host, because you know everything about small shot and the history of small shot, and it's really pretty disappointing, I suppose, that we're not having the parade and we're not having the day, because I know how much it means to you. And I know I don't want to have you greeting, and I know how I know how much you look forward to it. But I don't want anyone to be left in any doubt what it's about. So if there's anyone tuning in, I'd like you to tell us the root of it and the history of it, if you don't mind, to start off the conversation.
No problem. I hope everyone's sitting comfortably.
I'm going to put you full screen, Tony.
Thank goodness there's no buzzer. So, Small Shot Day, it's the oldest, or it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, workers' festival in the world. And it first came about in the mid-1800s, 1856 it was actually. And it revolves around about an industrial dispute that the Paisley weavers had with the mill owners and the corks, as they were called. And it all relates to a strengthening stitch that was into a weave. The weavers were paid by the line in a stitch. So you would see each line, but the small shot line stitch, you couldn't see. So if you've got a line, a weave of 7,000 lines, and you're having to put a stitch or a line, I keep saying it, having to put a line in every 6 rows, that's an awful lot of work you're not getting paid for. So they took some industrial action. I'm never quite sure exactly what it was, but they took action and eventually won the right to be paid for the small shot. They celebrated that, or they renamed the holiday they had the first Saturday in July as Small Shot Day. And that was celebrated with a parade and a fair. And then they would go down the water, down to Saltcoats or down to Girvan or some place like that. But it's really about the weavers taking collective action. It's about people, Paisley bodies, Paisley weavers working together to improve their lot. And that's, I think, for me, that resonates today, particularly through this pandemic, where we see people supporting each other, working together to make people are okay and safe and secure.
Yeah, that's true, Tony. You weren't involved in the original dispute, were you?
Well, I was just a boy at the time. Another aspect of the dispute that I discovered the other day, actually, you learn something new about small shot every day. But at that time, the weaving industry was moving from a cottage-based industry into the factories. It was getting mechanised, and the weavers were expected to pay towards the costs of the mechanisation. And being true Paisley folk said, no, we're not doing that either. You know, so that was involved as well. They were expecting, and I think that's really unfair, being expected to pay to make your job easy. Can you imagine how that would go down today?
Yeah, indeed, and I mean, small shot is so synonymous with Paisley. It's built not only a local reputation, but it's built a real sort of international reputation as well. And each year the events have been getting bigger and bigger and better. It's disappointing, obviously, what's happening this year, because you do play a role, and so does the drum. What's the history of the drum? What's the significance of the drum? Tell us the story about that, Tony.
The Charleston drum is the original Charleston drum is a museum piece. It's in Paisley Museum. So the drum that I bang is a replica. Now, I'll just take a step back here. As I said, the first Small Shot Day was in 1856, and there were celebrations and parades right up until the early 1970s. And it stopped. There was a change in councils, and it stopped. That famous Paisley folk singer, Danny Kyle, was working with a group of people from Ferguson, a group of people from Ferguson and from around about town, and they resurrected the Small Shot celebrations in 1985 or 1986. So the drum that I'm carrying today was built for then.
Right.
And it was a local Paisley artist, Gary Byers. I believe you know Gary. He actually did the design of the drum. He painted it.
Right.
And it's overdue a wee refurb, so I think we need to get the council to talk to him. But the story of the drum, it's supposed to have been liberated from the Battle of Waterloo by a Paisley buddy. Now, I don't know if it was a Paisley weaver or whatever, but it was supposed to have come over from the Battle of Waterloo. I just don't know how the wee guy got it through the customs. See that? It's a big drum.
So, a lot of folk don't know about the drum, Tony, the history of it and that specific legacy of the drum and its root.
It's the Battle of Waterloo. And it ended up in the Charleston district of Paisley, which is basically the south end of the town.
Yeah.
Thrush Craigs, that kind of area, you know. So it has been used since by the weavers when there's been an issue. A bit like a town crier ringing a bell. They would bang the drum and they would meet up and have their discussions. Now, they tended to meet at the Doosland Stane, which was sited at the corner of Rowan Street and Nielsen Road up until about 1920, when it was moved up to Brodie Park, because they were doing building down at the Doosland, down at that corner, Rowan Street and Nielsen Road. So the parade now leaves from Brodie Park and at the Doosland Stane.
Tony, I didn't know that the Doosland Stane was a thing when I was growing up as a kid, because we're from Thrush Craigs and we used to go down to the Doosland Stane to get the bus up to school.
Aye. But
the Doosland Stane was always just a pub, and I just thought Doosland Stane it. And then you grow up and you learn it was a thing, and so a lot of people still don't. When we're getting comments and people don't know about that story, so this is great that you're on telling that story.
Smashing, that's good. But you know, people will have heard the Hyde Park and Poets' Corner, where poets would stand. Well, the Doosland Stane is the same idea. You'd have poetry people. An early Sean Moore would be banging his, doing his poetry slamming and stuff from the Doosland Stane. There would be news announcements from it. You know, it was a muster point for parades or protests and stuff like that. I see that's a... Oh, Lorraine Cameron was saying her dad helped with the introduction of Small Shot Day.
Yeah.
Sorry, distracted with that. I don't know how you do this and not get distracted all the time.
That's okay. But it's good to get these comments in, you know, Tony, and that's part of the, you know, part of the thing that we love about this show is we bring people like you on to tell the story about a part of Paisley, a facet of Paisley that folk don't know about, and you know the interaction that we get from people tuning in is just wonderful, and whether there's compliments or questions, it's always great to do that, Tony.
It really is good. So what happens now is that we muster at Brodie Park, and at 12 o'clock there's a nod, and I start banging the drum, and the parade leaves. Now, since I've been banging the drum, I knocked out for 27 years. Right? I'm planning to do it for another 90. And see, over that 27 years, the parade and the festival, Small Shot Festival itself, has got bigger and it's more exciting and more vibrant. And it's fantastic seeing all the groups getting involved. You know, one group that has to be mentioned is the Ferguson Weavers, the Tannahill kids, Maggie McCulloch and the kids from Ferguson. They've been singing along every step of the way at every parade, probably since 1986, but definitely for the past 27 years since I've been doing it.
Your stop-off points, Tony, are increasing as well. You used to have one.
Yeah, you used to have one.
I think it's everyone now wants to give you a beer getting down the route.
That we would parade down, and it was one of the early parades, a big Parliament, big gym. We were coming down towards the Wellington. It was a roasting hot day, and Big Jim came out the Welly bar with a pint of lager. You and me, folks, that was the best pint of lager I ever had in my puff. And that then became a bit of a tradition, you know. So much so now that we stop at the outside the Welly and they bring out a pint. And it's not often, there's not many people in Paisley can walk down the main road making as much noise as they can, having a beer in the street, and getting escorted by the police all at the same time. That's a claim to fame. But since maybe over the past 5 years, that tradition's grown when they look at the pubs. It starts, we get down onto Nielsen Road, and the first pub that hits the Charleston Arms, and they come out and they get a wee half, a vodka or something, and then I can't remember, and then it's the Clachan, and I get a half out of there, and the same again at Tannehill's.
Yeah.
So that's the 4 pubs, and then it's the Wellington. So see, by the time I get to the Wellington, I'm feeling half school.
Is that why they shoved you in a chariot, Tony?
Well, yes, I think so.
And Tony, you said that you're going to be doing it for the next 90 years. I think just hearing what the perks of the job are, there's going to be a lot of people disappointed, Tony, that you're not planning on hanging up the drumstick sooner, because I'm sure a lot of people would sign up for the perks of that job, Tony.
I'll bet you they would, Alan, Andy.
Yeah.
But that aside, I can't really express, well, other than smiling about it.
Yeah.
What an honour. It's an honour and a privilege to lead this parade, because we're celebrating our culture, we're celebrating our history.
Yeah.
And I've been part of that.
Yeah.
But see, going down the road, banging a drum, whether you're walking or getting pulled along in a chariot, see the people cheering, all those people coming out year on year, cheering and shouting, and the kids smiling, and you're watching them growing up over the years, you know.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I just can't express the words for it, other than it's fantastic.
Well, it's clearly something that you're passionate about, Tony, and as we kind of say that Gary's words of introduction, multifaceted, because that's not just the only thing that you do in the town. You've been very involved in organisations like the Paisley Development Trust, which is paid and still to this day plays an important role in some aspects of the town. So it'd be good to maybe hear a little bit more about Paisley Development Trust and maybe some of the legacy projects that are in there, Tony.
Paisley Development Trust came about 20 years ago now. It must be 20 years ago. And it grew out of the Paisley Development Association. And it was local businessmen, headed up by Piero Pericini, who had the Bar Point pub, and then Hamis's house. So we got together and we wanted similar aims to Paisley Community Trust. We wanted to make Paisley, regenerate Paisley, but we wanted to use more about the cultural, build a critical mass of cultural evidence to help with the regeneration of Paisley. We did things like, we did a Glen Cinema commemoration, and that's carried on over the years. But our first Glen Cinema project was a memorial project. We created a museum. We did an archaeological dig type thing at the old Glen Cinema. We had an exhibition in the Liberal Club about the Glen Cinema, and that's kind of grown a bit, or moved on a bit, I should say. And we now have the annual wreath-laying ceremony, the commemoration in Hogmanay. For those of you who don't know what the Glen Cinema is, it was a tragedy. And every time I talk about it, I get a tear in my eyes, so please forgive me. There was 71 kids died as a result of a panic in the Glen Cinema. The panic was caused by a smoking reel of film. They thought it was a fire, and they were crushed to death behind doors, which are in Dyer's Wynd, which is the wee lane at the piazza next to, used to be Cantor's Furniture. It's a furniture shop now. It's just a tragedy. It happened in Hogmanay in 1929. The families were getting ready for celebrating, and the kids went away. And 71 of them never come back. It was sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But one of the good things, if that's the right word, that came from that was legislation was introduced that made it compulsory to have push bars on fire exits. These kids get crushed behind a fire exit door that didn't open out, it opened in the way, and they couldn't get out. So that tragedy and the result of those 71 kids dying, you can't put a figure on how many people have been saved because of that new legislation. So there's been some benefit, I can't say good, but some benefit from that across the world.
Yeah.
You know? Sorry for getting updated, folks.
No, I know you do every time you speak about it, Tony, and it's understandable. It's such a tragic story for the town, and I know how important that is to you. I also know how important all the community work that you're involved in, all the other things that you do. Are you chair of the Foxbar Community Council?
At the moment, I'm a member of the Foxbar and Redland Community Council. I'm also the chair of the Foxbar Community Garden and Environmental Projects Group.
Is that what that is?
Right, and we were successful in getting funding from the council to carry out a feasibility study on creating a community garden and growing space up in Foxbar, up on the site of the old St Paul's Primary School. It's now a derelict site. It's been knocked down. And I just got the first draft of the feasibility study today. I haven't quite read it all yet, but it looks good, you know.
Well, good, Tony.
We've got a small group of us are working to drive that forward. We'd like to see a growing space where people will be able to grow their own veg. We'll have a community orchard where people can come and pick the fruit. Well, you know, fruit cages, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. We'll also want to use it as a hub to create community activity, tackle all the things that you hear them talking about: social isolation, promoting healthy eating, you know, all that sort of thing.
That's you know, I hope everything continues to move in that direction, to a good positive direction, Tony. It's really, really important, and you know, clearly involved, clearly passionate about the town. You know, people like yourself are you know, so important to the fabric of Paisley and what we're doing. Moving back, I guess, onto Small Shop, because you know this year will be different. I'm just going to pop an image on the screen. We've got the Small Shop Day, which is this year, Saturday the 4th of July. So it's this coming Saturday. It kicks off at 12, but it's digital. Correct, Tony? So tell us a bit about what's planned this year.
Well, you can get full details on the Paisley Is site. I can't remember the link, but I'm sure we can get that posted up for people.
Yep.
But it's going to start off at 12 o'clock online, and Provost Cameron, Lorraine Cameron, will do a wee speech, and then she'll hand over virtually to me, and I'm going to be banging the drum. And the idea is between 12 o'clock and about 20 past 12, we want to encourage as many people as possible to get out into their gardens, banging pots and pans. I'll be out my back door with the drum. I've got the drum here. In fact, I was going to bring it up to the show tonight, but I couldn't. It wouldn't fit in the camera. I've brought this. If you can see it, folks. Very good. Just to keep us all right, to remind us.
Andy, what's our technology like tonight?
Are we going to try something out, Gary? See if we can play a video. Is that
I think it might be worth it. I don't want to put a buzzer on, but I think it's about time that we move the show on ever so slightly. I know, Tony, you're hanging about with us, and I mean, if we get this right, Andy, you have got a video, and
I have.
If it's the right video, Tony doesn't know about this, so it might be a surprise. So here's a wee video if it works.
Hold on to your hats, Tony.
Welcome to the recording studio here at Loud and Proud. We came in the other day with a special guest, Tony Lawler, who brought along the Charleston drum. The Charleston drum, as you know, has been marching through Paisley for a number of years now, in commemoration of Smoshaw Day. So we thought we'd get Tony in to record the drum, probably for the first time it's ever been recorded, and put a track to it which will be used in the upcoming musical about Smoshaw, which will happen next year. So we got him in and we had to make up some kind of groove, and the groove master Jamie McGrory came up with a great idea. Tell us how you came up with the groove. Or the grooves, in fact.
Yeah. We ended up with 4 separate grooves, basically. The idea being that come time for the show, we could take elements of each of these 4 and combine them to create different pieces of music for whatever the purpose is at that specific moment in the show. What we tried to do was make sure that each beat kind of had a similar vision to the stuff in the show. So for instance, the one you're going to hear today was supposed to emulate the weavers on their hand looms, so it's like a similar kind of tempo, and it's supposed to kind of envision, you know, sweaty labour in the mill working away. So yeah, so that's the one we're going to hear today.
So Big Tony, for his first recording session, did really well.
Did amazing. He was great.
And I must say, Tony is probably the most famous drummer I know, and I know loads of drummers, but he's the most famous. And he doesn't even play in a band. So he came in here, done a sterling job, which you're about to see. This is going to be a preview of what's coming up in the show. And Tony, I just hope you enjoy you recording the Charleston drum here at Loud and Proud Studios.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was fantastic. That was great fun doing that. Really was good fun. Oh, wow, that was brilliant. I can't wait. No.
It was good to see that, Tony. I hope that was a nice surprise for you.
It was really good. Thank you very much. I need to say thanks to Tommy and Jamie as well. They were fantastic and patient, because much as I can just bang the drum, I'm about as musical as that picture I showed you. You know, what I normally play is the iPod.
Right. That was fantastic. Tony, you're hanging about the whole show, but that was great to spring that on you. I'm really pleased that worked out. Really Andy, you're in charge of the studio. I know we've got our next guest lined up.
We've got our next guest lined up. Tony, you might know who this is.
I think I might,
Welcome, Carol.
All right, sis.
Oh, Carol, we've lost your microphone.
It's my mic, sorry. That was brilliant at Tommy and Jamie's place. I know you were really serious, like, That was magic.
That was an absolute bird.
But can I vouch for what Anthony said about his musical prowess? Sorry. The guy can't even whistle in tune. Sorry,
Carol, you got all the musical genes.
Oh no, I think we all get quite musical genes apart from Tony. Sorry, I'm going to call you Anthony. Sunday name. Sorry, brother.
Well, I was going to say, Carol, we're not used to Tony being called Anthony, so clearly he's getting his Sunday name.
We've gone to different things in the past. We've had meetings and all that stuff, and all been sitting about all serious with a pen, and I've said, well, I'd need to speak to Anthony about that, and somebody's gone, who?
Everybody's wondering who.
Aye, and Anthony's like, actually, that's me. This is really weird that I'm the wrong way around here.
Oh no,
we did that in our first show, and I was to point to Andy, and I did what I thought was right, and I went that. And the wrong way.
It's frack you want.
You've just broken the myth, Carol. Everyone thought we knew what we were doing.
Sorry, guys. I'm guilty also.
We'll just make it up as we go along. But no, hearing Tony, I'll now need to call you Anthony every now and again, because I occasionally get Andrew in my family. Usually when it's I'm in trouble. You know, that I don't know if it was the same for you, Tony. You know, it'd be Tony this and Tony that, but when it was Anthony, you knew you were, you know, you knew you were in for something.
Aye.
Well, I've always been with the family. It's always been Anthony. When my family call me Tony, I know I'm in trouble.
Oh right.
I we're never allowed to call you Tony.
That's true.
Carol, talking about names, we had Tom Ury on a couple of weeks ago, and we mentioned Carol Lawler's coming on in a couple of weeks on the show, and he went, "Wow!" He must know you.
I know Tom very well. He's a gentle gem, beautiful man, a great guy. In fact, we were talking. Tony was talking about the Glen Cinema memorial that we do every year. And Tom and I actually this year wrote a song about it. We were commissioned to write this song about it as well. So Tom and I have done a lot of work. Also, Tom and Anthony and I have known each other for many years because Tom's been an old family friend. He was my wee brother's best pal when they were growing up and stuff.
Yeah, he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant on the show, and gave us a couple of tunes throughout, and the feedback that we were getting on social media, on YouTube and Facebook, it was just you know, great. You could see that there was so much love for him, and we like to add in some culture to this show because Paisley's absolutely bursting with talent and bursting with culture, and great to see Tony. Clearly, they'll be knocking your door down for a record contract after that little snippet we showed earlier on. And of course, Carol, thank you so much for coming on to the chat show. It's a real pleasure to have you.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you.
But it's been tough these last. I've lost count of how many weeks now we've been in lockdown. How's that been kind of affecting you and your kind of lifestyle and your plans, Carol? How have you been coping?
Actually, I've been coping fine. I'm used to working from home, so it's not a bother. My partner's downstairs, which is fine, but every so often I get the wee chap in the door. Kaz, can you help me with this? Kaz, can you help me with that? I'm like, of course, darling. Always very calm and very gentle about it. But actually, it's easy peasy. Do you know what I'm dying for? A cuddle. A cuddle from my family, a cuddle from my pals. I mean, I've done a couple of, been out in the garden having dinner or a cup of tea or whatever with friends that have been round, socially distanced and all that stuff, but you just don't like seeing cheerio without a cuddle.
I know, just waving at folks, not quite the same.
Nah, it really isn't. So that's the main thing I'm missing. But I'm able to do lots of work via this. Hello, Lorraine. I'm able to do lots of work via this where I can do Zoom. I think it's Zoom, and I do a lot of songwriting workshops with various groups and stuff like that. So it's fine.
So you're keeping busy then?
Yes. Oh, aye. Yeah, I've got lots of recording to do, and I can't speak quite as calmly and svelte like as Anthony just did. So I'm busy. That's all I'm saying. You know all the stuff, Anthony.
I remember the send off for 2021 that you were involved in, Carol, when you came into Paisley and performed, and that was such a great day as well. You must have had such a vibe that day of looking out from on stage. It
was fantastic, and also all the different elements of people joining in, different choirs. In fact, Jamie's band played the drums on that day, and it was a really heartwarming day. Actually, I don't think you were there, Anthony, were you?
No, I was away. We were on holiday.
That's right. But it was just a fantastic day, and everybody walked away with a wee spring. Everybody. It was a really special day, but I think it also encompassed kind of what you were saying, Tony, about Paisley. It's just a very warm place, very real, but very warm. And there's no kind of, I was going to say no frills. It's just functional. We went, we did the job, in my humble opinion, a brilliant job. The 2021 thing was a brilliant job. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but even then, after that moment of, oh, everybody was like, okay, what's next? And obviously you guys, through the Paisley Community Trust and the Paisley Development Trust, are continuing that legacy, which is really exciting for me to hear, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, Carol. And I think, you know, that we're now into show 9, excuse me, and the number of times that the Paisley bid gets mentioned, and ultimately we never won. But what it did do was really continue and build on the momentum that was already there, and it gave us a vision of perhaps what we could accomplish. And you know, when that bid went away, the spring and the step, that has continued, and it's brought a lot of people out to work together. And you know, Paisley Development Trust, Paisley Community Trust, and so many other organisations that we try and put a spotlight on each week, rather, are all part of continuing on that that positivity that we really drummed up, to use an expression, Tony. That we drummed up during that period of time. But Carol, obviously singer-songwriter. I think you've, am I correct in saying you've got a wee song for it lined up for us this evening? Carol, can you maybe tell us a little bit about what you've got lined up?
Well, I've got nothing lined up just now because I'm having a menopausal flush, so you'll just have to bear with me. So always cool, you know, always calm and cool.
That's the first in the show, Gary.
First we've been told about.
Oh, shoot, it's very visible, but hey, what to do?
Need to take a drink of water here.
Actually, I'm going to do a song that I did. It's an old Carol Lawler song, and the reason I've chosen to do this song is because 27 years ago, this coming Saturday, was Small Shot. Well, it's every year, but anyway. This year, we were playing outside, my band were playing outside the Abbey, not the Abbey, the Town Hall, the Abbey. And it was a big stage, it was hundreds of folk there, it was great. And I had a load of girlfriends come along. I think there was about 10 of us. And after that, which was a brilliant gig, after that, we went back to my house and drank strawberry margaritas, as you do.
As you do.
At that point, though, one of my friends wasn't drinking because she was very heavily pregnant, my good friend Judy. And just a few days later, she had this wee bundle of beauty and joy. And that's my goddaughter, Caitlin Rose. So I thought I would just sing that song, if you don't mind, tonight. But I was telling you guys earlier how much I can't stand the sound of things through digital this way because everything always breaks up. So forgive me in advance, but let's have this wee song. He would die in your arms, laugh with you or cry, anytime that he pleased. But the beauty he wore lies tattered, tore down on his knees. You go asking, darling, take the blues and you choose the road you walk on. I will be the mother, be your daddy too, be your perfect other. I will be when the little girl's gone and the woman has come and the life has begun, beautiful inside and out, the magic that she taught about, complete. You go asking, take the blues and you choose the road to walk up on. I will be be your perfect other. I will be there whenever your sky comes falling down. I will be there when you ask me to go. Be whatever you care to, be whatever you dare to, free falling. Yeah.
Well done, Carol. That was brilliant.
That was lovely. That was like Andy. How fortunate are we to be working in this show?
Do you know? I was sitting thinking the exact same thing. I was just thinking, this is fantastic. It's just, I mean, there's Facebook's just blowing up, Carol.
Only I knew a drummer. I do. Thank you, Andrew.
I can't, and even Tom Urie's getting in on the act. The love is clearly the love is clearly mutual. I cannot keep up with the comments here. They're just flooding in. You know, right now in homes across Paisley, everyone is just applauding. It's fantastic. Oh my goodness!
Thank you. That's great.
Wasn't that great? That was really great. How can we find a segue, Andy, that allows us to move on to something else when we're running out of time and ahead of schedule? We've got so much more we want to talk to you about, Carol.
I know.
But we have got to a stage that we need to ask somebody else. I think someone else have they dialed in, Andy, and they want to come in and talk about something?
And they're waiting, but the big challenge is, how do you follow that, Gary?
That's what I'm saying. You can't. Goodness sake.
You've said, I mean, Tony took the bar really high. Carol,
he always does.
Watch it. The wee sister.
Tony, your sister. What a performance. Was that diplomatic enough? So the bar is Graham. We'll bring Graham in now. We've got a room for 5, we've got room for 6, but we'll bring Graham in. But Carol, stunning and so much praise coming from online. So Graham, can you hear
Hi,
Graham.
I think that's what you call a hospital pass. Well, that was brilliant, Carol.
Yes, thank you.
It's great of you to dial in and to come on the show as a surprise guest.
I've never been a surprise guest before, so quite honoured.
Yeah. It's good to have you on the show. I know you're on. I know the rest of you are staying. Tony, Carol, you're staying on. Graham, you're coming on just for a surprise moment in time to give us. Of course, the show's about Small Shot, and with everything going online this year, we want to talk about what's online, and for you to give us a complete rundown, if you can, a top 20. What's happening in Small Shot Day, Graham?
Yeah. I work with the events and marketing team of the council. Oh, that's great. So you've got it all lined up there for me.
You can talk us through that.
Yeah. Well, you'll notice straight away there that we're going to start on Friday night. So Create Paisley, I've just got it on my computer here as well. Create Paisley are going to do an open mic on Friday night from 7:30. Jordan Stewart's going to host that. I've already seen some of the videos that have been submitted for that. It's great. Some great stuff there. And then, of course, we've got our traditional small shot day on the Saturday, and we start off, as Tony outlined at the start, with the Provost giving us an introduction, and then Tony's going to bang the drum. And just to reiterate what Tony said, it's all about everybody watching that on Saturday and then making a noise themselves. If it's a great day, we want you out at the front door, in the garden. If it's not, you can even do this in your living room. Just make a noise for Small Shot Day, and we want you to be filming yourselves, tagging us in on social media. The whole day will be on Facebook, we'll be on Twitter, we'll be on Instagram. So we want everybody to share their videos of how they get on banging the drum. You'll see there we've also got a couple of other things around that lunchtime slot. We've got a lot of local voices. A lot of people have recorded video clips about what Small Shot Day means to them. And we've got a couple of treats from Pace. They've done a version of This Is Our Day, the Small Shot anthem, and they've done a radio play as well. I should just say, actually, at this point, the guys at Paisley FM going to be broadcast about Small Shot Day all day. They're great. They've got the radio play, and they've also got the tea dance that you'll see popping along there in the afternoon. They're going to do the hour-long tea dance for those that are into that kind of thing. Loads of stuff for kids during the day. Alan at Create Paisley's got workshops going on to make postcards. We've got Pace doing storytelling. The remote guys have been encouraging people to make window art and costume making, so we're hoping to see some of that on Saturday. And you'll see the connecting threads, the one there, a couple of video tutorials on there for anyone who wants to make as a mop hat, I think it is they call it, and maybe put something in the window. So we've got loads of stuff for kids. There's another good one down there a bit further down. You'll see connecting threads. That's the guys at All or Nothing Dance Theatre. We've already had loads of videos. I think the team's had about 65 videos already put in of people doing different dance routines. And they're going to have a dance along live. Absolutely loads happening. There's loads of activities. One or two other things to mention. We've got a special podcast on Saturday. Unison have teamed up with Erskine Music Media Studios and some people from the Dunscore Heritage Centre to produce a podcast about Jane Haining. Jane Haining was a missionary who tragically died in Auschwitz. And that'll be a very, very interesting podcast to listen to. We've got guys from Civil Disobedience who are leading a session on the Paisley Radicals and the history of the 1820 Radical War. A bit later in the day, TH Cars guys have got films as well. They've got films about mill girls and thread queens. We've got Paisley and Stitches. There's so much, and then there's a few crackers coming on right at the end. We've got more songwriting and another showcase of young songwriters, Paisley and Song at 7:30. Those guys have been working with Michael Cassidy. We've got a very special Smash Hits, the Small Shot Smash Hits. That's Renfrewshire Leisure and the Bungalow have teamed up. I think there's about 7 or 8 different artists there. And again, I'm lucky I got to see the video ahead of time. That's great. And one other one that I don't want to say too much because I know your last guest will be really great to speak about, the Douzlin Staying Home. We play on words there. So we've got a whole session of poetry and spoken word that's all been inspired by lockdown and Small Shot Day, but I don't want to say too much about that. Sean's the man for that one.
Fantastic. Let's just get that off the screen. And are we all back again? That's the first time we've ever done that, Gary. And how good did it? And brilliant.
That was great.
Great.
They gave me time to have my. I've got a cup of tea.
That's another first on the show, Gary. You're getting a cup of tea.
Did I see something saying the Douzlin Staying at Home?
Douzlin Staying at Home. That's that. I don't know who's responsible for that one. Sean will maybe know who come up with that cracker.
We're going to be our next guest on shortly, and I'm sure Sean will be able to tell us all about that, Carol. But I mean, Graham, you've not taken COVID lying down with regards to putting together a really fantastic programme for the people of Paisley and beyond. There's just so much on there, and we want to make sure that we've got it promoted to everyone. So can you just confirm where people can find the information? We'll get it up on the screen as well, but if you can let everybody know.
Yeah, but it's all on the Paisley Is website, which is at www.paisley.is, and you'll find it there. It's immediately available from the homepage. If you're not already, you should be. If you're following us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, where Paisley is on there. So that's the link there, Andy. That's perfect. That's the URL, which will take you directly to all the Small Shot Day information. And what we'll be doing on Friday night and all through Saturday, we'll be adding all the video content to that page, and we'll be posting things throughout the day on Saturday. We would love it if everyone can watch on Saturday, but the advantage this year of having to do this online is that this stuff will live online forever. Yeah. So you can see it at your leisure. If Saturday's great and you happen to be in the town, so much the better. You can be in and shopping local, and then maybe you catch some of the stuff a wee bit later on.
Graham, thanks so much for coming on the programme, promoting all of that. Tony, you're going to jump in with something there?
Yeah. I'm just going to ask Graham a question. Bear in mind that I'm a techno Luddite. How, if I'm going to film me banging a drum in the backyard, the back door, how do I get that onto the page?
Oh, trade secrets, Tony. Trade secrets. We'll take that offline. We'll talk that through with you. Don't you worry.
We'll sort you out, Tony. Sounds like a threat. We're going to sort you out with the technology.
Graham's been saying to me for years.
Well, listen, Graham, thanks for coming along. We'll make sure we get promoted out through Paisley Trust's Facebook page and Twitter. We'll promote, we'll join in. Everybody's really looking forward to Graham. So thanks so much for coming on the programme, Graham. And we'll
thanks,
see
Graham.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Graham.
Oh, Graham.
That was good, didn't it?
I'm really
surprise guest.
Really program.
Now, we've got another guest teed up, Gary, because I don't want to get buzzed here by missing our schedule and our time, but we thought an hour and a half for a small shot special would have been enough, but to be quite honest, we could have probably been doing with 2 hours, Gary, with a toilet break in the middle.
Will we just keep going?
We'll just keep going. Let's get our next guest in. I'll click a button and Sean will magically appear, hopefully. Sean, are you there, sir?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Sean.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hi. Welcome to Paisley Community Chat Show.
That's been grand. Good show, man. As always. I like your format.
You've been tuning in the background.
Pardon?
Have you been able to tune in the background?
Oh, yeah. I've been here for the run. Aye, great show, man. Great show. And Graham did well, cramming all that into a couple of minutes. That's a mighty, mighty programme I've got lined up.
They've got it jam-packed and it'll be great. And I was just going to say, you were waiting there in the black and white room, as we call it, and it's great to see that you came in team colours.
The tradition in these podcasts, everybody in lockdown, especially for writers, that you sit in front of your bookcase with all your impressive book collection. So I thought, I'll talk to a brick wall.
So, Sean, some people may know you, some people might not know you. So, Sean, give us an introduction to yourself.
Okay, born in Paisley, still working the tune as well. I've done all my life, practically. Picked up writing and poetry a few years back and kind of dovetailed that with the Paisley open mic scene and liaised with a lot of musicians and a lot of local organisations and stuff. And it's been a buzz. Been able to do a kind of bit of community activism and a bit of entertainment stuff and have fun in the process. It's real fun.
In the context of Small Shot, Sean, Graham has alluded to the play on words, the doozling staying at home. Who was it that came up with that, and what is it all about?
That was me. That was mine.
Well done.
Well done, stuff.
Brilliant.
I need to take the writing. Tony kind of alluded to earlier on. He was talking about Small Shot and folk seeing the parallels, how it related lockdown, and folk at Graham's team asked me to round up a few local poets to kind of look at this. So we were all charged to come up with something, a poem relating to small shop, but also through the COVID lens. And there is so many little parallels and things you can draw from it. Local poets, 5 Paisley people, Johnston, Erskine and Renfrew, and all different styles. So they've all come up with something quite different and hopefully entertaining as well. The kind of more kind of upbeat slam poetry style as opposed to the doer stuff you maybe go to school.
Yeah. and Sean, I'm right in saying you've got a poem prepared for us this evening, is that correct?
Aye, well, I thought I would just jump the gun and do the one that I'd written for the weekend anyways, because this is on theme as I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Aye, I've got a few Paisley and small shop ones that I've done through the years, and done stuff for 2021 as well, and various local organisations. But aye, in the flavour of the night, I've got one kind of walk down.
Ready to go. So what we're going to do, Sean, we're going to play a wee video just to tee up small shop, because we've been talking a lot about small shop. At the end of that video, that will only be on for about a minute or so, 2 minutes at the very most, I think it lasts. But it's a good overview of small shop, so we'll give everybody an overview of what's what, and then we'll come to you, and that gives you a wee bit of time to get ready for your moment, Sean. All right, sir.
Smashing.
Okay, here we go. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. It just captures it, and again, we're getting some brilliant comments. We seem to be pulling on the emotional strings tonight. There's Jackie's not doing so well, and even Tom Urey here, we're making him homesick. But just how good is all of that? But Sean, without further ado, sir, I'm going to put you full screen and take it away.
Cheers. Near 170 years gone by, how can it be relevant still? Gone are the weavers, the corks and the looms, gone are the very mills. As are the coal mines that fired them, the steel works that built them, and the ships that sailed all the shores away. Industries now histories, communities broken boundaries. Does it matter, the moral of Small Shot Day? See, back then, the learned lesson of the Paisley pattern was a people's parable, people would do well to remember. That for a fabric, shawls or society, to keep its integrity, it needs the wee threads to keep it hanging together. And even the fanciest world-famed fabrics, with celebrated aesthetics loved and lionised, unravel to bits without the input of the unseen, the unrecognised. And the fabric of society is unrecognisably altered. The Paisley and pan-global pattern changed. From when isolation was something splendid, a lifestyle choice of rulers of the waves. Through post-war pan-European peacetime to political pandemonium endemic in these present pandemic days. When the social has become the virtual, counting friendships with quick clicks in our post-industrial age. But through any historical stage, through pandemics, disasters or war, it's been a small folk on the front line. The fodder dropped in the firing line, now dropping food at your front door. In truth, not for glory nor riches nor honours, they protect, comfort and tend the herd still. Aye, those whom they entitled, betrayed and belittled, sneered at for being untrained or unskilled. Some high Hegians called it wrong, ill-advisedly. Some advisers were called out rightly on their hypocrisy, and the small folk kept it together. In 2020, the fabric of society has not unravelled and frayed. All thanks to the extraordinary, ordinary workers, the small shots in the modern day.
Brilliant.
That was good.
That's really brilliant.
Do you know what I like about it? It just ties it all together. It pulls it all together. It pulls the Weaver history and the crisis today. Well
Cheers,
done.
Tony. Cheers. Well, the past few years I've run the Small Shot Slam and Small Shot Evening, and I tried to get the balance because, on one hand, there was a lot of Paisley people there that knew what the day was all about, but there was poets and audience coming in from Glasgow and beyond, Ayrshire and whatnot, and you had to kind of let them know what the day was about, keep the flavour of the day, but still have a nice kind of not go on and on about it to people that have heard the story. And that's where your drum came in handy, Tony, because I've used your drum in the poetry slams. We do a timekeeping system. We have a buzzer like Gary, but most slams it's like a little bell or something like that. So I thought, yeah, I'll ask if I can use the drum. So when the poets go past their time, they get a big boom. So the drum.
Sean, this Saturday you're on doing the slam. What time are you on at?
You're on at 7 o'clock, I think, or 6:30. Sorry.
I think it's 7.
7 p.m. 7 p.m. You're on.
Sorry, Graham, I was listening.
Yeah, so just to recap that, Sean, it's on. Let me just read this out. Saturday, 4th of July, 7 to 7:30 is the poetry slam. And again, Andy, just to recap for everyone, that link, the Paisley is linked. But if you type into the Google, Paisley Small Shot, the Google, that's what we call it, Tony. It's a physical thing.
The Google.
Get yourself out of that Google and you know everything.
Just like the Facebook.
The Facebook, the Google, the Small Shot.
So there's a point if ever there was one, eh?
Yeah.
Sean, I've not responded to your poem. That was just utterly amazing. That was, but I love the story. I love the emotion. I love the sentiment on it. I was actually quite. I don't know if anyone else was, but I was actually quite emotional about that. Tony, you had a tear in your eye a wee bit earlier on as we remembered the Glen Carol singing and Sean. That was what a journey this has been tonight. It's been fantastic.
I'm just about holding it together myself, Andy.
Oh, a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic program, and the comments are coming in. I tried to put some of them up there because I was stuck for words, so I had to lean on the comments that were coming in from everybody. It's just been brilliant. Well, time is marching on, and am I correct in saying, Gary, I'm kind of lost here on the script. I'm thinking we might have another special guest to pop in at some point, or am I missing anything else?
Has anyone hovered in the background?
Well, we've got someone else hanging about in the black and white room. Shall we bring them in?
Well, who is it?
Well, it's someone that's been on the show already, but he made a cameo in a video performance that Tony was involved in, so I'll bring him in. Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Hey. Well done, Sean, and Carol, and Tony.
Hey, Tommy, hasn't it been such a fantastic, emotional show tonight?
Aye, it has. It's been great, and such a pity it's not happening this year. But I must say the council's done a great job in keeping that alive. And I think what I'm going to do on Saturday, I'm going to the Doozle and Staying on Saturday, and I'm going to give myself a wee walk down Nielsen Road and end up in Shuttle Street. So that's what I'm going to do on Saturday. No drumming, no crowds, but I'm just going to go for a wee walk. You've all inspired me.
Well, that's brilliant, Tommy. I mean, you were on earlier in that video, and that was a brilliant video. Thanks for making that for us, Tommy.
With a great time.
Yeah, you spoke about a small shot show.
Well, this is something I've been working on for a while, and it got kind of put up on the shelf slightly because of what's going on just now. And I was getting really frustrated with it. So the very first thing, music-wise, that we've done was get Tony in, bang the drum, the Charleston drum, and what we ended up with, as you've heard, is a part of a whole 4-part drum beat thing. As Jamie was saying, that his influence for that part was the sound of the loom cracking backwards and forwards. Then we've got another section that's to do with anger, obviously. Anger with the argument between the Corks and the Weavers, and then there's a marching piece as well. So the drum is going to feature in the show quite predominantly, and most of the other music is all Scottish traditional music from Tannahill, Burns, Lady Catherine, a lot of things from the 1850s that I'd never heard about, including a guy called John Sim, who wrote a song called Kelvin Grove. That's in the show as well. I'm finding a wealth of, I don't know if you know a lot of that kind of thing, Carol. Scottish traditional, I'm sure you do. A way back.
Yeah.
Of course, that's your kind of bag, I suppose. But it's something that I've not been into, and I've been YouTubing crazily over the last 6 months, and I've uncovered some great songs. And as I say, including a guy called John Sim from Paisley, who wrote this song called Kelvin Grove. Never heard of it in my life.
And Tommy, what's the timing for all of this? It sounds fantastic, and comments coming in already. People are looking forward to it already. What's your time scale for bringing all this together, Tommy?
Well, it'll be next year now. I don't see anything happening this year. The script is about, I would say, 95% finished, but Karen Heberson would probably say it's only 50% finished. Karen's helping me with the script. I do my usual, and I bash on with a script, and she comes in and tells me off in the bits I've not done very well. So she's done a great job in making it a great story. I'm also pushing the show, but it's a very, it's a passionate story, very emotional. It's got a lot of twists and turns in it that maybe a lot of people who are not quite au fait with the small shot story will understand. But it really, it describes life in 1856 to a T. I think what they do. It's not just this story of the small shot. Where did they go? What did they do? And it's great that Sean's on tonight, who's spearheading a fantastic poetry revival in Paisley. And one of the quotes I got from an old Paisley book was, "It is said that 1 in 3 people in Paisley are poets," and that's from 1850s. Wow. So we've got a long way to go, Sean.
Too much to say.
A long way to go. We need more poets in Paisley. That's a festival and a half.
Yeah.
We need to have that poetry festival. And you know, and I didn't know anything about poetry apart from Tannehill, who could have been the next Burns. Unfortunately, died at a young age. But I downloaded an old book from somewhere, I can't remember where, and in it is, I think, about 60 or 70 Paisley poets and their work. Amazing. You know, never knew that existed. So all that research is going into the show somewhere, so that it doesn't sound like a documentary. It is a fun show at the end of the day because it's got a happy ending.
Tommy, it sounds fantastic. Tony, something that you'll be looking forward to? Will you have a starring part clearly in it with the beat of the drum going through, but the overall production, the story, everything that's going to be told, it sounds like it's going to be great.
Just talking with Tommy the other day about it, you see, you think I'm enthusiastic about stuff. Tommy's enthusiasm about this is incredible. It's fantastic. You know, his enthusiasm for the music scene in Paisley is undoubtedly phenomenal. You know, keep up the good work, Tony.
This has been a bit of a challenge for me because, you know, people associate me with rock on Tommy and rock music, and you know, and I've tried to dive into this other world of music that we all know about. If you're Scottish, you know about the Corries and Alison MacDonald, and it's there. But I've dived into quite deep this time, and I've realised how good some of these songs are. And some of these songs, one of the songs came from the Battle of Bannockburn. You know, it was a song called Hey Tooty Tatty that became Scots Wha Hey. So for music to be kicking about 13, 14, and, you know, spoken locally, not written down, to survive hundreds of years, I find that fascinating that traditional music has got that history and that legacy. It's still kicking about, and the funny thing about traditional music is that, you know, songs like Dirty Old Town was an English folk song, and many songs started off as kind of English that became kind of Scottish and Irish, and they all merged together and took on the kind of landscape of the local people, and the music changed a wee bit and the words of the songs changed. So I've been finding that really, really exciting and learning. Every day's a school day.
Yeah, we can't wait for that to come to fruition, Tommy, next year, and hopefully you find a venue to play it in. And it's interesting to link that story back to the start of the show and the whole show coming together, linking through Small Shot. It's been great to see. It's been great to see everyone on tonight. Thanks for popping in, Tommy.
Thank you. Thanks
Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to wrap up this section of the show, and it's almost regretfully wrapping up this section of the show tonight because it's been so good.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. Our thanks goes out to all of you for spending time to not only come on the show tonight, but to perform on the show, to tell us your stories, to promote what's going on. That energy, that positivity, we need to keep it flowing through Paisley. We keep needing to shine spotlights on the fantastic history and heritage, the great stories and the performance and the talent. This has been a fantastic show. It's been so inspiring. Thank you to all of you. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to take you out and sit you in the black and white room. If you can hang around, we'll be finished shortly and we'll get a picture together. But
before you send me away, before you send me away, there's lots of notes coming in, and some of you guys have said it's a shame it's not going ahead this year. And this is something totally to Paisley's it's one of his biggest strengths. It is going ahead this year. It's just going to head differently. And Paisley always does that. And my good friend Judy says to me a few years ago when we were at the Halloween parade, she said Paisley really knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's still happening even now. Even though we're not out in the street, we're not getting that cuddle. Small Shot's still going ahead, and I'm so looking forward to it on Saturday. So well done, guys.
And Friday and Sunday as well. It's turned into a whole weekend thing almost.
Yeah.
Friday night, kick it off, and then the amount of video footage that's going to be.
Yeah.
It'll take you Sunday to get through it. I was looking at the forecast when I was in the green room, because you're usually praying for decent weather.
Yeah.
Just all sit in and watch.
What you're saying there, Sean, actually, that's an interesting point, because, you know, next year, you know, hopefully we'll be able to return to some degree of normality. But it doesn't mean to say that we can't have a digital program on top of, because actually that opens up from an accessibility point of view. People that maybe can't get out and get to venues, if they can tune in online, take part online, the accessibility broadens it out by digital. So in some respects, yes, you're right, Carol, it is happening this year in a slightly different way, but we're building, and you around this screen, for me, you guys are all involved, and it's just wonderful. So thanks.
Terrific.
Again.
Terrific. We'll pop into the black and white room, and we'll catch up with you in 5-10 minutes.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks everyone so much. That was amazing.
Oh, Gary, it's just I'm not usually stuck for words, but I'm blown away by tonight's show. It's been really, really special. It's been so good.
I'd actually like to be sitting at home watching it.
You can watch and catch up, Gary.
I watch and catch up. It's been great. It's been really great, and everyone's came on with. I say it every week, Andy. Everyone tells their story, their backstory, their journey in their life, and Small Shot this year has allowed us to expand the show ever so slightly. We thought an hour and a half would be enough. It's not enough. I mean, the Paisley story is limitless, Andy. We're just shining a small light on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you've got fantastic talent there, you know, Sean, I could just listen to an entire show of that. It was just so good. The story that was in there, the delivery was in there, and then you've got Carol. What such a beautiful, beautiful voice. And again, the meaning and behind that, and then you get the interest and the intellect of someone like Tony to tell us everything that he's involved. We've just got brilliant people. I'm blown away. I need to sit Gary.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, and you know, I like my music, and words mean a lot to me, and songs. And I could pick up a song, look at the lyrics, and it blows you away. And to hear the backstory in a song and know that it's about something, and then hear it, to me that's something special.
No, it's great.
So it's been great. It's been great, and I think we're going to overrun, Andy. I think we should overrun.
We are, and I think what we'll do is we'll start to kind of touch on some of the bits and pieces, because first of all, at this part of the programme, we like to thank our guests and talk about that, and that's really important. It's really important also, we thank everybody that's tuned in this evening, that's watched us live, and if you are watching us back on catch up, thanks for doing that. All of these comments that we get in, we try and put as many of them on the screen as we possibly can to let our guests know what you think, and you know, when you're showing your clapping hands after they performed, all of that stuff, we like to get that on. That is the reason we continue to do this program. Yes, we want to shine the light, but when we get such great support and such great interest and positivity, that's something that we just need to kind of keep moving forward with. So thank you to our guests, thank you to everyone that's posted their comments. That's really important. And then I guess we talk a little bit about next week. Yeah,
I mean, we were going to have a longer section on this, Andy, to tee it up. When we've been working hard. I find it hard not to be able to follow what has just been. But I think it's important that we tee up what's happening next week. Next week, it's just me and you.
Me and you, no guests. We're flying solo, Gary.
Yeah, just me and you next week. But we've got a cinema special next week. So the 8th of July, a cinema special. So I want to try and get this right. What we want to try and do next week is to have a programme dedicated just to cinema. And me and Andy's going to present it. There'll be no guests. There might be the odd person pop up now and again that phone in or call in. But what we're going to talk about is the cinema heritage and legacy in Paisley, what we used to have.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the choices and some of the options that have came around related to the Paisley vision for the resurrection and regeneration of the town and cinema in particular. Yep. We're going to talk about the choices that we've made, some of the decisions we've made, and we're going to tell you everything about the cinema project that we've been working on. We're going to tell you what we would like to do, where we think it could be, what size it could be, and what it'll look like, what it'll include, all the detail. We're going to tell you everything about it next week. So that's a 1 hour cinema special, and we hope we get it right, and we hope we get the message right, and we hope you all tune in and give us your feedback.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, you know, a lot of people will know that follow us on our Facebook page or on our Twitter what we've been looking at, and we've really zeroed in on cinema. We've carried out some surveys. We want to share some of that information back with you as well in terms of what we are hearing coming back, because it's really important that everyone realises that what we're looking at developing in the town is not for us. It's for the community. It's for Paisley. So we need to get it right. We need to get it to be what you need it to be and what you want it to be. So we want to share, because we've engaged with a lot of groups. We've listened to users of the town. We've listened to people within the town, organisations within the town, and we've kind of built that all into our vision, I guess. So we've seen the Paisley vision. So as a subset of that is our vision for returning cinema to the high street, cinema back into Paisley. So please do tune in next week. And I'm sure, like always, we'll get a lot of interaction, and we want to make it as interactive as we possibly can. Lots of questions to go through. So yeah, that's what we've got planned next week. I'm looking forward to it, Gary.
Yeah, as I said at the start of the show, Andy, I'm getting nervous because it's so important. I get nervous when that type of importance looms up, and we've been working on it for so long. So we know there's not a right time in lockdown to discuss it or wait. Yeah. We're not going to wait. Time's right now for us to develop and show you our plans.
Aye.
And we hope you like it.
That's exactly what we want to do. We want to share that with you all, and ultimately, you know, as we are going through this tough time, you know, people are looking at recovery. How does the town recover? How does it regenerate? We all play a part in that. How do we get more footfall into the town? How do we support our traders? And we think that leisure offerings like cinema can help to do that. So we're looking forward to discussing that next week. It's going to be a hard week. This week is going to be a hard week to follow because, you know, I don't play any musical instruments, Gary, and I've got a dreadful singing voice.
Well, I'm inspired by tonight's show, Andy, and one of the things that inspires me about our great town is the people in it, and we've just had a magnificent show full of it. And if anything that we're doing, and if the people of our town get behind it, it'll be a success. So I'm actually now looking forward to the show next week. I can't wait to tell everyone and show everyone what we've done.
It should be fantastic, but I have noticed I've started freezing on the screen. So I'm going to click our outro button, Gary, and then we're off air.
All right, you're blinking a wee bit there, Andy. So we're leaving. Andy's frozen a bit. He is, and I don't want to spoil the end of the show. We're closing the show. It's been a magnificent night. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It is good night.